Hey there, Natalie here with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio. And today we're going to create a new layout using the Holiday Dreams collection. And I'm actually going to pull a few more products from the Pinkfresh Studio store. You're going to see that I'm going to bring the Folk Snowflake. I'm going to bring the entire suite. That means that I have the stamp, the stencil, and the die. I'm also going to bring the large snowflake die. And I'm also going to bring the Stitched Scalloped Rectangle nesting die set. So I'm going to start by creating my snowflakes. I want this to be kind of the focus of my layout or the feature. So I'm going to go ahead and hit emboss the image of the Folk Snowflake on white cardstock using a snow embossing powder. That means that it's going to be super soft and kind of white pearlescent. So you're going to see that I am just going to go ahead and heat emboss it. I'm not going to show you how I actually use my heat gun. I forgot to record that part. I'm so sorry about it. So once I have that, I created 5. I'm only going to be using 4. And to color this snowflake, I'm actually going to use the coordinating stencil. This is the Folk snowflake layering stencil, and it comes in 3 pieces, which is going to help you customize your snowflake. So the way that I want to go about it is I went and pulled colors from the collection. I am using for my blue snowflake, I'm using a Slumber and Blue Jay. I'm only using 2 colors. I didn't want to go really dark with this. I wanted to stay super light with this. So I'm starting with Slumber and stencil number 1. I am using my ink blending brush, the 1/2 inch ink blending brush. And I'm going to just add the color by going on a circular motion on top of the stencil, and that's gonna apply the color onto my snowflake. Once I have my first layer done, I'm going to come with stencil number 2 and Blue Jay ink, and that's just going to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going to go ahead and again repeat the process, circular motion, picking up some ink from the ink pad, and then on a circular motion that's going to deposit the ink and add the color to the snowflake. And now for the last part, which is the stencil number 3, I'm actually going to just use very little Slumber ink and whatever's left over in my ink brush. I just wanted something super soft. I'm only using 2 colors, so I wanted to give the impression as if I had 3 colors, and the way to go about it was to be super light-handed with the ink blending on the last part of the stencil and picking up very little ink, in this case is Slumber, just to give it a soft look. And once I have that, I'm gonna set that aside, clean my stencil, and work on the other snowflakes. I ended up, like I said, I pulled the colors from the collection, so I'm gonna use Mint, Meadow, and Evergreen for the green snowflake. I'm gonna use let me get the color properly. Candy Apple, Berrylicious, and it's not Coral Bliss. But the same color that was in that for the reds, and I'm gonna use Cherry Blossom, Peony, and Mulberry for like the pinkish tone. And once I create my snowflake, you're gonna see that I'm actually gonna go and buff the top of the snowflake with just a clean cloth, and that's just gonna take the ink that was or stuck on top of the embossing area. And that just gives that nice white edge to my snowflakes. Then I take the die and I just gonna separate them all. While I was die cutting, I went ahead and actually used the large die and some glitter paper to just cut a few snowflakes, and I cut also some of the Stitched Scalloped Rectangles out of white cardstock, and I'm going to use 2 large ones and 2 smaller ones. I actually had this idea of creating something that had a simple background but bring a lot of interest to each one of in this case, the rectangles. So you're going to see that I'm just placing them, they're going to form a zigzag. I know that I'm going to use the 2 larger scallops are going to sit on the left and the right of my layout, and the smaller ones are going to sit in the middle, kind of creating a zigzag formation. And I'm going to use the snowflakes to actually emphasize this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I cut my rectangles, I cut a few of them because I want to make sure that I back them up or I stack them. That way it's going to give them, first of all, it's going to make them sturdier. And second of all, it's going to give some dimension to my layout. Not a lot of bulk, just a little bit of dimension. So all I have to do is just turn my die cut, add some glue behind it, and then just stack the shape that actually matches. And then in this case, for my picture, when you use the die, it actually comes with 2 scallop edges, one that goes to the outside of the frame and one that goes to the inside of the frame. I decided to take the one that goes to the inside so that it has that white edge when it comes around framing my picture. And now that I have my picture ready, I'm going to go ahead and actually back the rest of the rectangles. And I want to go with something really soft for this layout. So I want to pull papers from the 6x6 paper pad. The reason for that is because I want the smaller print, first of all. And you're going to see that I am actually going to go look for colors that match the colors of my snowflakes. So I'm finding this snowflake paper for the blue one. And then I went with something that had a combination of the pink and that red tone. So I found this diamond pattern, and I'm going to back the smaller rectangle with that. Now for the larger rectangle, the other one, I wanted the 6x6 version of this paper, and that's the snow globes, but I've actually used it up. So I went and used the 12x12 piece that I had left over, and I just back it. Like I said, I'm just going to turn the paper, the die, add some glue to the edge of the frame, and then just back it with the paper. And once I have them ready, it's all going to be about putting them in place on my layout. And I'm going with white cardstock in the background so that everything that I put on top of it stays really, I wanted something really light for this layout. So I'm going to make sure that my larger frames are going to sit around 1/2 inch from the left and the right hand side of the page. And then you're going to see that when I place my, in this case, my rectangle frames, that's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to go with the left one. It's going to sit in the center toward the bottom of the layout, while the white one with the snowflakes is going to sit on the center toward the top of the layout. That's just going to create kind of a soft diagonal. And then the 2 smaller frames, the one that has the pink paper, is going to, think of it as creating, like I said, a zigzag. It's kind of go a little bit higher, but then I'm going to put the picture of my daughter wearing her like reindeer antlers towards the bottom, and that just gives us a like idea of a zigzag. It just makes your eye bounce through the frames, which is what I want for this layout. Now that I have the frames in place, it's all about placing the snowflakes. And again, you're going to see that I'm going to emphasize this little zigzag motion using the snowflakes. This is the Folk Snowflakes. And the way that I'm going to place them is I'm going to put them at the corner of the frames. But I'm going to make sure that they bounce your eye as a zigzag. Once I have those in place, I added a little bit of foam adhesive behind them. I'm actually going to get those large snowflake dies that I cut out of the glitter paper, and I'm going to place them at the center of the snowflakes using a little bit of foam adhesive so that it creates a little bit of separation. Once I have that, I had this idea of for example, having think of embellishments hanging from the snowflake. So I want them through the entire collection, finding embellishments that match the color of the frame. For example, for the blue one, I am using the snowflake comes from the cardstock sticker. The little snow globe comes from the puffy stickers. And then I'm actually going to get one of the wood accent stickers. I'm actually going to take the wood part out of it. And you're going to see that I'm punching holes at the top of the stickers just so that I can run some twine through it and kind of hang it from the snowflake. So once I have that, I'm just going to get some white twine. Like I said, I want something really airy for this. And then I'm just going to loop the twine through one of the embellishments. And then I'm just going to add the rest of them. Once it came to setting them in place inside of the frame for the blue one, I added a little bit of foam adhesive behind it just to give it that little bit of height, and also to help me kind of create a little bit of movement with them too. So you're going to see that I'm going to show you the blue one I'm going slowly. I had to play a little bit with how they're going to sit, how the string was going to run, just to make sure that it gives me this idea. Like I said, think of it as having charms, in this case, hanging from a piece of twine. So I wanted the same idea with these embellishments. So once I have them in place, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to lift up the snowflake, the large snowflake that I have there. I'm going to add some foam adhesive or some glue to hold them in place. And then I'm just going to go ahead and restick the snowflake in place. So like I said again, the idea is that it looks as if the embellishments are hanging from the back of the snowflake or the top of the frame, whichever way you want to call it. So you're going to see with the blue one, I'm just going to literally take off the snowflake. I'm going to, put the strings in place, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue it back. Now for the pink one, I went with, again, elements of red and pink. I think I pulled a piece of ephemera, and you're going to see that I'm going to repeat the circular look that I have. I have the circular snowflake in the blue frame. I'm going to bring something circular also to the pink frame. And I found this red present in the ephemera pack. I found that it kind of like, it looks like a bubble pink sticker in the cardstock sticker. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I punch holes through them. I looped some twine, and I'm gonna hang it from the top of the frame. And then just to bring a little bit of sentiment, I went into the cardstock sticker and I found this little sticker that said joy, which I thought it was perfect for that. Now the green one, because I have the snowflake sitting at the bottom left corner of the frame, I can hang things out of it. Instead, I'm going to make sure that it looks as if I have presents sitting on top of the snowflake. So I'm just going to tack them behind the top of the snowflake. And again, I went with something that had a lot of green. Now here's where I realized that my layout, it's really heavy at the bottom. That means that I need to move it up a little bit. So what I did is I went ahead and cut a 1/2 inch out of the top of my layout, being careful not to cut through the snowflake. And I'm going to save the 1/2 inch of paper that I used. I'm going to go ahead and cut these scallop borders. I'll make sure that I cut a red one, a green one, and a blue one. And you're going to see that I'm going to leave around 1/4 inch of the white paper underneath. So I'm just going to be careful. I'm going to cut them out. I'm going to take them off camera. And then I'm going to use that to add it at the bottom of my page, kind of creating a border, and also going to help me to add a title. So you're going to see that I'm going to glue them so that they go right at the bottom edge. And then that 1/2 inch of paper that I cut from the top of the layout, I'm just gonna turn my layout and add it at the bottom so that it completes the 12 inches. So just playing with the positioning of the paper that I cut, and also helping me center my layout a little bit better. Like I said, sometimes we make mistakes. It is normal. It is human to make mistakes. And in this case, I just when I was working, I didn't realize that everything was just not in the center, but coming down. So it made it really heavy at the bottom. So the easiest way was just to cut out of the top and bring the piece at the bottom just to balance it out. So now I need to create my title at the bottom. So I'm going to bring that kind of scallop look of the frame. So I went into the chipboard frames and pulled a little pink sticker from there. I'm gonna add one of the small snowflakes, the ones I cut from glitter. I found that title, that 'tis the season to be jolly, in the title ephemera, and the little puffy tree in the puffy stickers. And I'm just gonna place it at the bottom. I'm gonna add enamel dots, kind of to accent the colors of where I'm placing everything. So I will have green enamel dots in the green area. I'm gonna have pink in the pink, red in the red, and so on. Think about tone on tone, but I'm gonna make sure that I put a yellow, kind of a gold enamel dot on each one of the clusters of enamel dots, so that it brings it all together. And that's it. Super easy. Like I said, it's the time of the season we're super busy, and we want something that is impactful, but it's also simple and easy to build. And I thought that this was a great idea for you guys, and also for me. And I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Leave me a comment in the comment section here, and I'll come back to check it out. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great holiday season. It's been a pleasure, this year working with you guys, and I hope to see you soon. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more beautiful content, and I'll see you soon, guys. Take care.